Welcome back, dear viewers. U.S. President Donald Trump left the White House for the final time on Wednesday, heading by helicopter to a nearby military base where he will fly to Florida, skipping the inauguration of successor Joe Biden in an extraordinary break with tradition. Trump, 74, and First Lady Melania Trump walked a short red carpet and boarded on the Marine One on the White House lawn on a sunny but chilly day in Washington for the short flight to Joint Base Andrews, where he will board Air Force One. Trump will be at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida when Biden is sworn in at noon as the 46th President of the United States. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will take the oath of office at the very spot where pro-Trump rioters clashed with police 2 weeks ago before storming Congress in a deadly insurrection, while a transition of power will take place with as much as it has for more than 2 centuries. This inauguration is unlike any other inauguration. Official Washington has said that taking on the look of an armed camp protected by some 25,000 National Guard troops tasked with pretending and preventing any repeat of this month's attack. And with the pandemic raging, the general public is essentially barred from attending the swearing-in, leading to the unprecedented sight of an empty National Hall and mall on Inauguration Day. With the death toll soaring past 400,000, Biden on Tuesday led a powerful tribute to victims of the COVID-19 as he arrived in Washington. Dear viewers, and to know more about the swearing-in of the 46th U.S. President Joe Biden, which is taking place, and Nile TV is bringing you special coverage. We have with us over the phone now Dr. Hesham Ashmawey, and Dr. Hesham Ashmawey is a political and an economic expert. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Cairo Local Time. Dr. Hesham?
Yes, I'm here.
A very good day, sir. Sir, your insight, please, on the ongoing extraordinary event, of course, of the swearing-in of the new 46th President of the United States, which is Joe Biden, and, of course, Donald Trump leaving the White House.
Let me thank you first for the summary that you made, the 4 years summary of President Trump, that most of the Americans, they took a deep breath when they knew that he arrived Florida safe and sound, that they would not hear anymore from him and his attack, which has been happening in the past few days in the month of January, and insisting not to leave the White House. So he left in peace after his daughter, his son-in-law. They made plenty of meetings to convince him that my father-in-law, time to go home back to Florida, time to admit that Mr. Biden is a new president, time, to collect your suitcase and everything, instead of, making new surprises, unpleasant surprises to the American and to the strongest country from democracy, from power, to attack the Congress, which he did. So it's a short, unpleasant history has been happening in the 20 days of January, the 20 past days. But we have to think positive because life has to go on. Whether Corona's on, Trump was on, and life has to go on. And that's why most of the Americans today are so happy to receive a new president and to look forward. Still, President Trump accomplished lots of things. No one in the past 46 president has done it. One of them is having peace with Israel, which is the favorite kid for United States.
Of course.
With the 4 Arab countries, Emirates and Bahrain and Sudan, and they are very happy with what his son-in-law accomplished, and this will be for the credit of President Trump. Not only that, I think Ivanka, his daughter, and his son-in-law are planning after 4 years to go back, try to reach the White House again from the economy situation that the father did. we have to look really, what do we need as Egypt from U.S., from Biden today?
Yes, sir. This was a very important question that I was going to ask you. What do you think the Egyptian-American relation will? How do you foresee this relation in the future, sir? Where, of course, with Joe Biden, the head or the president of the United States.
Before we talk about any details, we have to understand really the size and the location and the history of Egypt. I remember Dr. Hesham al-Baz, God bless his soul, I attended a meeting with him in Washington, D.C., and the name of the meeting was the Egyptian Debt, and that was in the 80s.
The name again, sir, was the Egyptian?
Egyptian Debt. Shall we forget or forgive?
Shall we forget or forgive?
Yes.
Okay.
And everybody was talking. We had 3 ministers from Egypt, Dr. Atif Abeid, God bless all their souls, and Mr. Fuad Sultan. I have this on a tape live. I will send it to 9 TV. Just remember the history. And everybody, you know, Fuad Sultan and Atif Abeid said, the economy of Egypt will improve. We can ask for more loans. We can until came Mr. Hesham al-Baz. And he said, what do you mean forget or forgive? Who needs whom? Does Egypt need United States or United States need Egypt? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what he said. We were in a big meeting event, and he said, United States definitely needs Egypt much more than Egypt. And we have to look at this. Who needs whom better? United States needs to control the Middle East. United States needs to deal with the Middle East. They cannot talk to any other country historical-wise, size-wise, wise president-wise. All the above, United States is aware what is the size and what is the location of Egypt. And the world understands this, not only United States. So
exactly, sir. That was just what I was going to answer and tell you. It's not only about the United States, it's about the entire world that knows the importance of Egypt and the location of Egypt and the geographical, of course, location of Egypt.
Now, we have to teach our young generation and growing generation and dealing with the young people that Egypt is a very special country worldwide. It's gifted country from God. By the, as I said, by the location, by the size, by the river, by the two seas, the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, by the monuments. Right now, while I'm talking to you, it's minus 51 in Kazakhstan, that they have a frozen animals in the street. So we are gifted also with the weather, with our location. So we have to understand where we are, and we live only in 10% of the size of Egypt. We have 90% to be developed. And when we say we'll be developed, it doesn't mean like some people criticize that we are poor. We are not poor. We are saving this for the coming generation. We have oil, we have gold, we have water, we have sweet water, we have salty water, we have desert. We can make miracles in this country. So really, our teamwork in Egypt should communicate with the United States in the same level. If not, we are better from the economy-wise. And now we can talk about Corona. What did Corona affect the United States people and the Egyptians? How was the effect? 90% of the Americans are staying at home scared. 90% of the Egyptians living normal, their own life. They go to work, So we have really to understand how do we communicate. It's not because the largest country in the world or the biggest country in the world or the strongest United States, we have to be waiting to deal with them. No, we would like to deal with them on the same level, politically, financially, people-wise and smart level of people. So we really should not minimize our effort in the Middle East, worldwide, as you said, and especially with the United States. Now, what's Biden going to do with the Middle East? He cannot do a lot because there is a system over there. The president can do very little according to the history that we know, according to the good relationship between the United States and Egypt and the Middle East lately. And we have also to use our people over there as ambassadors. We have big community, not less than 500,000 family, Egyptian family in the United States, and they are dual citizens. Those people can be a lobby, which we are missing really for the past few years. We should have Egyptian lobby I will not say similar to the Jewish lobby because I'm talking about nationality, not religion. I'm talking about country that has input worldwide. We had God bless his soul, Zuhail, who got Nobel Prize from Caltech, California Technology. There isn't many Egyptian who got Nobel Prize like him. We have Magdi Yaoub in UK. We have people all over the world.
Of course.
In the United States, we have a very strong economy, but they are not teaming up. So our turn here as a country, as a mother country, to put them together, to know really that next president coming after Biden and Biden can hear them if they are united. So there's many really opportunity we would like the media in Egypt to focus on in order to have Egypt in the right space worldwide.
Sir, how in your own perspective will Egypt and the United States relation be under Joe Biden's rule?
Well, I see Egypt will take, a very stable space with him because he does understand really the credibility of Egypt. For example, if there is any new deal will be done with Israel and the Palestinian, it has to be through Egypt. If he's going to revive the deal he had with Iran, he will need the Egyptian blessing. If he's going to deal with Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, he has also to have the blessing of Egypt for the size-wise and for the location, and to lean on me. There's a song in the States called Lean on Me. So he has to lean in Egypt in any action worldwide, especially in the Middle East, when it comes here. Especially understand that we have a very wise president who was not interested into war, or is not interested into fighting or anything. He's wise. He dealt with him. He dealt with the American in the past 4 years with Trump and the one before Trump in a very sophisticated way, which I think the Congress, the Senate, which the Iranian United States, they are aware how Egypt, communicating with the Middle East and with the world in a very sophisticated level.
Sir, will you please shed light on the economic cooperation between the two countries, which is Egypt, of course, and the United States, and how the United States will boost the Egyptian economy from your own perspective, of course?
Well, we have to understand that 90% of the product in the United States is imported. So Egypt has a big share of this, especially with our Egyptian cotton, especially with our very reasonable, I will not say cheap, with very reasonable workers' fees. So we have to improve the amount and the quality of exporting products to the United States. And this is simple because according to the need. So my advice was to the Minister of Agriculture in Egypt, we have to make a tailor-made product to fit the American needs, which is, so let's say today they need a quality of cherry tomato, not the regular tomato. What is the difference if we grow cherry tomato? That's what fits them. If they need a special kind of jeans clothing, we have to make a tailor-made according to their sizes, to their needs, to their quality, and that's very simple. We don't need to make a product and search how to sell it. So we have to find what do they need and tailor-made what they need. Then we can take a deposit before and sell it after we finish it. And most of the brand, by the way, in the United States, I don't want to make advertisement, most of the brand of clothing, they make their products in Egypt for the jeans and for the t-shirt and the sweater and suits. We have a great product, and I visited some of the factories here, which they are not working in full. We should really market the product, market the American product needed. So instead of going to China, and we understand the situation between U.S. and China is not the best right now, so I always...
Okay, sir, in light of the new U.S. president, which is Joe Biden, do you think the relations between China and the United States will become better, or will become worse, or will stay as is, and they're going to continue from there?
Well, it will get better, but what kind of better? China wants to lead the world. And,
exactly. And the United States want to lead the world.
And the United States wants to lead the world. So the competition, maybe it will be more sophisticated fight. Not as ugly as Trump and the Chinese. So Biden, with his age and his knowledge, he might make it,
so you think it's going to be tougher?
Yes.
Exactly.
But again, and I'm not saying this is a competition, Egypt should have, and the Middle East, and Egypt as a leader of the Middle East, we should have a big piece of the cake. What does the American need from the international? And we can communicate with them, because after all, the most famous song for the past 50 years in the United States, in Disneyland, it's a small world after all. So we have to understand from the song, from the art, it's a small world after all. So whatever Egypt has can exchange with the United States, and life has to go on very peacefully between the Far East, Middle East, and we can say the Big East, and export and communicate, and not to deal with them as they are bigger country, stronger country. We are big, we are strong, we are growing, and we'll keep on this way. So the media has a big role to convince the Egyptians not to be scared dealing with them, not to deal with them in a different level. No, we call it tete-a-tete. We can deal in the same level as, even countries, even people. When God created us in the same mind, same brain, same body and everything, so we can deal in the same level.
Okay, Dr. Hesham, you mentioned when we were discussing that, of course, Egypt will be in the Palestinian cause, will be discussing the Iranian cause, the Saudi cause. Egypt will be a common factor in many of the problems that are going to be tackled in the future. How would the two countries collaborate, the United States and Egypt, of course, in the issues of mutual concern in the international arena, from your own perspective, sir?
Okay. United States is very keen to satisfy the Israeli needs. Israel aware they need to stop the Palestinian from hating and hitting them around the clock, no matter who's stronger. Okay? Egypt is the only country had peace with Israel since 47 years. Sorry, maybe 44 years. Okay, over 40 years. So Egypt is really the leader how to communicate. Now people say, can't you see, I met with the American ambassador and the Israeli ambassador, can't you see how Emirates, merging and doing a great job with the Israeli, not like Egypt? I said, no. Egypt is making a wise movement. How to have peace in the area, how to communicate, how to help the Palestinian, because this is very important for us, how to make really peace, how to make the two countries neighbors and satisfy and live together in peace for good. So we are not, as in Arabic we say, boiling eggs. No, we are making something has been fought for the past 70 years, and time has come that Egypt really sit with Hamas, with Fatah. First, the Palestinians has to get together under the umbrella of Egypt blessing, because when we communicate, when our foreign minister, Mr. Sameh, Ambassador Sameh, can make, a deal between the Palestinians, they have to unite together before we say, okay, Hamas will do this or Fatah will do this with the Israeli. And we have to understand, every day, this peace agreement postponed, it's not for the sake of the Palestinians. It's for the sake of the Israeli. They are growing more. They are doing whatever they want. So time has come that they understand time has come to unite together. Now, when we talk about...
Dr. Hesham, terrorism, of course, one of the main obstacles facing the entire world, is a real threat to the security and stability of the whole region and the world at large, as I mentioned. What is the role of Egypt and the United States partnership played to combat terrorism?
Okay, President Mubarak, God bless his soul, and President Sisi,
I beg your pardon?
President Mubarak, God bless his soul, when he was the president of Egypt, and
yes,
President
may his soul
Sisi,
rest in peace, sir.
Both of them, as leaders of Egypt, well-respected leaders, they asked to make a conference regarding terrorism, because they said, if terrorism in Egypt, tomorrow will be where else. And that was a very wise statement. So terrorism is reaching the world. So time has come, the world to unite, to have exactly how to protect the world from terrorism. Not only Egypt or Israel or the Palestinian or United States. So I vote for having a conference 1 and 2 and 3 how really to communicate and to suspend and to stop and to attack terrorism real hard in order to have a very peaceful, like we're attacking Corona now, the whole world is united. Terrorism is not less dangerous than Corona and vice versa. So time has come really between Biden, and he understands this with his experience, and we should not underestimate Biden's experience as a vice president.
Nobody's underestimating him, sir.
Absolutely. No, I'm not saying you, I'm talking about the world. So we really have to...
No one in the world, I think, is underestimating Joe Biden.
No, sometimes they say he's an old, he hardly can hear, he had the disaster in his family. All of this, as we say in Egypt, I'm sorry I would say it in Arabic, الضربة اللي ما تموتش تقوي. Whatever really hit wouldn't
what does not kill you never makes you stronger, sir.
Absolutely. So he is a strong man. It doesn't matter how old he is, but he is wise man also. So we have to understand to attack the most two important enemies for the people of the world, which is Corona and other viruses, and the terrorism.
He has a lot of challenges, of course, that is facing him, and is, of course, he has to look forward because he is going to be facing a lot, sir. Finally, sir, Egypt sent military planes filled with medical aids to help the United States with the coronavirus. What did this gesture reflect from your own perspective, and how was the American reaction?
Well, it's very important to show that the Americans that we are willing to help, even if we will help in our, size level. Which, when I mean size, I'm not talking about country size. We're talking about population. If we are 100 million and they're 300 million, and our economy is not as strong as theirs, we still can help. And this is in our religion, and this is in our principle that no matter what happens, no matter who needs help, Egypt is always there. In Africa, in the United States, in China. I remember when the disease started, we sent our Minister of Health to China too. So we have really not only to look to the States, we look to the world, how Egypt is communicating and how President Sisi is wise to deal with the whole world by giving attitude. So the United States does appreciate that very much, and they had announced this, that they appreciate the help of Egypt, no matter how big or small, but again, it's a help, and expected to make joint venture in the future, and this is what I'm asking, in the vaccine, how to produce the vaccine, not only to import it, how to produce a force worldwide to protect the world from the terrorism, how to produce also a communication to have peace worldwide, between the Israelis, the Palestinian, and the Middle East. And Egypt will have a very important role in this by the experience we have of 7,000 years old country.
Dr. Hesham Ashmawey, before we wrap up, of course, you're very intellectual and very decent conversation, which I really thank you for. I'd like to ask you a quick summary for what you foresee for the relation between Egypt and the United States in the at least 5 coming years.